Well, are you ready for some unindoctrination? I sure hope so. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you from the heartland of America and right from my heart to yours. Check out our other channels. They're right on our preferred channels list. We've got Create Yourself with Jeffrey Daugherty and Unindoctrinated Politically with Jeffrey Daugherty. Great stuff. Today, we're going to talk about something, and I got him kind of hid behind me, but that's John Calvin. If you're a Christian, you know who John Calvin is. If you've ever been a Christian, you know who John Calvin is. And basically, Calvinism is the guy, or Calvin's the guy that basically, he was co-founder with Luther of the Protestant Reformation. And most people that call themselves Christians have what you would call Calvinistic beliefs. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I see Jenny May in the chat room, and I just have to give Jenny May a salute because she sent me the notification the other day. I guess she sent it to me in the Slack chat, which is part of the Cousins Club. She sent me the notification on the video of our great president saying that if you don't want the vaccine, you don't have to take it. And if you missed that video last night, you missed me at my most fired up. And I encourage you to go watch that video. It's celebrational, and it's so good to just tell all of these people that want to make you afraid and fearful to shut the hell up and that they're wrong. So we're going to move right on, and we're going to remind you that MSTech always brings you the first segment of these videos. It makes my blood flow perfectly without pathogens and without any stickiness, which is what causes you to get sick. It keeps my subtle body, which is your energetic body, in perfect alignment, not in chaos. And it mitigates the effect of EMF to the point where there's not really that much to worry about. I've got the anti-cancer necklace on as well. It's really powerful stuff. And go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the MSTech logo, and you get 20% off your purchase if you go there. Okay, so let's take a look now at John Calvin. And I have chosen to call this, because it really is John Calvin exposed. We are exposing John Calvin, and we are thereby exposing the vast majority of Christianity. And I, as always, stand open to have an open, gentlemanly, scholarly debate with anybody on any of the issues that I talk about. And still, it's crickets. I wait and wait and wait. And I have no expectations of anything being different. So John Calvin exposed. Let's dive right in here on the Christian Whistleblower channel. John Calvin. In French, his name was Jean Calvin, born Jehan Calvin. We'll get to that. 10 July, 1509 to 27 May, 1564. So we're coming up on his birthday. He was a French theologian. He's a French theologian, a reformer in Geneva, which is Switzerland, during the Protestant Reformation. He was also a principal figure in the development of the system of Christian theology, later called Calvinism. So if you're a Christian, or if you know a Christian, chances are really good that they're Calvinists. So this is the guy, you have to understand, this is the guy that without this guy, there's no Protestantism. Without this guy, there's no what you call Roman Protestant. It's all still Roman Catholic. So this guy's fairly important in the Christian scheme of things. If you're a Christian, here's your roots. If you used to be a Christian, here's your roots. And if you're thinking about being a Christian, here's your roots. And you really want to take a look at them and listen to this. There's basically 5 points of Calvinism. And we're not going to go into these super detailed because it's theology and it's boring, but it's important that you know. And this idea of you're born with original sin and you've got to come on bended knee to their Savior because you got to have salvation. Thank John Calvin for that. John Calvin is the one that invented this idea of what he called total depravity or total inability. You can't come to God on your own. And you are a dirty, rotten, sinner from the time you take your first breath, and I've shown you that's not true. You don't have original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. But Calvin taught that as a consequence of man's fall into sin, in other words, somebody stole a car 2,000 years ago, and you're in jail because they stole the car, even though you don't even know what a car is. You're a little baby. You can't even see, you can't even reach the steering wheel. But yet, you're in jail for grand theft auto. That's how much sense it makes. That's how much sense it makes. So it's total depravity. You are a sinner, and even if you get saved, quote unquote, you're just a sinner saved by grace. Then comes unconditional election, and that asserts that God has already picked who he's going to get saved and who he's not going to get saved. That's right. So you're serving a God that made people and decided before they were made that he was going to burn them forever in hell. What kind of a God does that? No God, not a real God, but only a fake God. Limited atonement. The one that you love that hung on the old rugged cross in the old fairy tale. His atonement that all of the cross clingers love to talk about. His atonement was limited. He didn't even die for everybody. He only died for those that the Father decided he was going to call, but yet still borned all these other people to put him in hell. And people say that I'm hateful, and people say that I'm mean. I never made anybody knowing I was going to burn him in hell forever. Meet John Calvin, your founder of Christianity. Isn't that great? And there's something called irresistible grace, which means if you're supposed to be saved, if he decided he's going to save you before he made you, if he decided he's going to save you before he gave you the sin, if he decided that you're the one of the ones he's going to keep, even though he made them all, you can't help but get saved. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're going to get saved. That's called MK Ultra mind control. That's called God Ultra mind control. Craziness. And there's perseverance of the saints, lovingly called once saved, always saved. Once saved, always saved. So once you get saved, it doesn't matter what you do. You stumble down to an altar, you mumble a prayer, you accept the Father and HERU, DISTU, look in the box below if you don't know who those names are, those spirits into your heart, you get possessed, you eat their flesh, you drink their blood, you give them your soul, and no matter what, you can't be unsaved. That's not because they love you. That's because they're not letting you out of your deal. And by the way, that's a lie too. You can get out of the deal. But it's just, it's craziness. This Christianity is craziness. And John Calvin is the guy that started it, co-founded, as I said before, with Martin Luther. Wow, guys. Wow. Total depravity. You're born with original sin and worthy of hell. John Calvin. Unconditional election. God has a chosen people. John Calvin. Limited atonement. He only died for who he died for. John Calvin. Irresistible grace. Mind control. Perseverance of the saints. Soul farm. Thank you, John Calvin. Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. John Calvin. I want you to look at this. This is what what we know him as, John Calvin. Now, what did he really start as? What was his really name? A principal figure in the development of the Christian theology. Reformer during the Protestant Reformation. I want you to look at his name. And I'm going to go deep into this name. And I'm going to show you where Christianity comes from. I'm going to show you where the Protestant Reformation came from. I'm going to show you where your Christian faith comes from and what it's based upon. And it doesn't matter how you feel or what you think. or what your mom said, or your pastor says, or your priest says, or some crazy guru on YouTube says. It is a fact, and you got to deal with this. You got to deal with this. And I'm very, very interested to see how you do. You remember I told you that the Protestant Reformation stunk to high heaven. I smelled, and I could smell the rat bastards cooking. Something was wrong with the Protestant Reformation. It didn't make any sense to me. And the fact that the Jesuits started right at the same time as the Protestant Reformation started, the Protestant Reformation, the Jesuits started right at the same time that the printing press started, the Protestant Reformation, the Jesuits, the printing press, and the explosion of literacy. All of a sudden, everybody could read, write. All of that starting together. And it would keep me awake at night. I'd lie in the bed thinking, something's not right. I smelled what was cooking, and it stunk. It stunk. Why would they launch this Reformation and then this counter-Reformation right at the same time of the printing press, and right at the same time the explosion of literacy, right at the same time that they were about to lose 1,500 years of monopoly? Think about it. For 1,500 plus years, everything you read came from one source. Everything you saw came from one source. Everything you were taught came from one source. Wait a minute. Does that sound familiar? Because we're kind of in the same position today. Isn't that an interesting thought to ponder? So the guy that started the Protestant Reformation, co-founded, we could call him, the Protestant Reformation, started the Protestant Reformation in France, England. Watch this. Who he was, really. And why it's hidden. And why, look, I've been studying this for 40 years. 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And I have never dug this stuff up, ever. And I study more than any of you ever have or ever will. I don't channel some entity. I don't channel some group. I don't channel anybody. An archangel doesn't give me my messages. Nobody gives me my messages. I study them out. And I've never seen this until May the 10th, 2020. And I've been doing this now 40 years of unindoctrination. And it took me that long to find this. And I'm going to give it to you for free. You ready for this? You're not, but here it comes. Here it comes. John Calvin. Look at his name. John Calvin. Look at his name. All right. Jean Calvin, John Calvé, born Yehan Cowan. But we have to understand that he was born. Remember when he was born? He was born in 1509. Guess what? There wasn't a J yet. There was no J in 1509. But there's one name given under heaven whereby all men must be saved. And that name started with a J. But whoops, there wasn't no J until the 16th century. What about all those poor people born before the 16th century? Nobody could be saved because that name wasn't available yet. And that's the only name under heaven whereby men must be saved. Not can, must. So how about the sorry bitches before the J got invented that couldn't have known that name? I'm ready to debate anybody, anywhere, anytime. So there was no J. So his name was not Jean or Jihan. It was Yehan. And I'm like, ooh, Yehan. John, Yehan. I know where I got that from because in Hebrew, like the book of John, it's Yohanan. So Yehan is like John for Johnny, or Johnny for John, whatever way you want to talk about it. His name was not Jean, Jean, Jean. His name was Johann, Johanan, Hebrew for John. There was no J. This guy clearly had a Hebrew first name, Johanan. He had a Hebrew first name, Johanan. And Calvin, the original Cain, you know what that is? Cohen. Cohen. Hebrew first name, Johanan. Hebrew last name, Cohen. Cohen. John Calvin's name was Johannan Cohen. John Calvin's real name is Johanan Cohen. So why do you think they've hid that from you for over 2,000 years? Why do you think that's been kept secret for over 2,000 years? Why did he change his name in the first place? You'd be surprised at some of the people on YouTube telling you that they're telling you the truth, and their names are not even their names. They've changed their names. Now, some people have stage names, and I get that, but some people have changed their name, really. Legally changed their name. It's not just a stage name. They've changed their name. Why? Nobody changes their name, generally speaking, unless they're hiding something. What was being hidden from us is that it wasn't John Calvin that helped start the Protestant Reformation. It was Johanan Cohen. So you're not practicing Calvinism, Christians. You're practicing Cohenism, Christians. Cohenism. That's LEMISH. But wait, there's more. Do you understand that not only are the Cohens a LEMISH name, but you know who the Cohens were? The Cohens were the priests. The priests. John Calvin was Johanan Cohen, and he was LEMISH. He was a priest. He was of the scribes and Pharisees. What did the HERU of your script say? Beware the teachings of the scribes and Pharisees. But yet, most of you are Christian. All of you who are Protestant adopt, believe, teach, preach, love the doctrines of a scribe or Pharisee. Oh, that's got to hurt. That's going to leave a mark. The bottom line is that John Calvin was a crypto-LEM. He was an infiltrator. He was a spy. The leader of the Protestant Reformation was a crypto-LEM, a spy, an infiltrator, a secret agent. Secret agent man. He was a secret agent man. And in 1936, in Paris, France, the Catholic Gazette reported that the B'nai B'rith claimed and bragged that John Calvin, or Johanan Cohen, was in fact a LEMISH. Look in the box below if you want to know what LEMISH means. What is B'nai B'rith? Well, it's pronounced, or it's interpreted, the children of the covenant. B'nai B'rith is a Jewish service organization. And B'nai B'rith states that it's committed to the security and continuity of the LEMISH people, of the LEMISH people, of the LEMISH people, of the LEMISH people, and of the state, and combating this and that. So they say, the main LEMISH organization in the world says that John Calvin was Johannan Cohen, and that John Calvin was a LEMISH infiltrator, a LEMISH spy. Wow. John Calvin was a crypto LEM. The leader of the Protestant Reformation was a crypto LEM. And not only that, he was of the LEMISH priestly class. He was of the scribes and Pharisees. And the guy that you claim, that you believe, even though he never existed, said, beware the doctrine of the scribes and Pharisees, yet all y'all believe it. All y'all believe it. You know what one of your problems is? One of your problems is that you ain't got no C60 purple power running through your veins. If you had some C60 purple power, it would help you think better. It'd help you think more clearly. You can go to c60purplepower.com, use the code TCW10. Cliff High and his wife say that's the only reason they're alive is this product, for what it's worth. Johann Cohen of the Scribes and Pharisees, co-founder of Protestantism, big-time guy within all of Christianity. And this is probably what your mind looks like right now. Dark, blank, rut-row. How do you deal with such a crushing revelation? How do you handle such a smackdown? What are you going to do now that this truth is broken out all over you? Are you just going to ignore it and file it away and go on and pretend that everything's okay? Let's see what kind of feedback we've got in the chat room. This should be interesting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. All right, here we go. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Truth Seeker thinks that Johannan Cohen sounds like an accuser from the get-go. Wow. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Enough digging for truth, and you always find that one guy. If you keep digging, you'll find. If you keep searching, you'll find. Knock. Keep on knocking, and it opens up. Keep on searching, and it's revealed. See, that's another beautiful example of how the AHAK, the B-I-B-LE, tricks you. They say, seek and you will find. Knock and it'll be open. Ask and it'll be given to you. Who do you ask? You ask somebody else. That's not the truth. Dig yourself. Study yourself. Don't ask anybody. Dig, study, dig, study, and dig. And then you find the truth. And it's your truth. Chosen, very cliquey. That's not a real God. A real God doesn't have any chosen people. In fact, one of the diamonds in the AHAK says that the real divinity is no respecter of persons. Thanks you, Dustin. I appreciate you. I do put out the effort. That's all I do. Pastors gauge you based on how many of these 5 points you espouse. That's very, very true. Very, very true. Another JC. Julius Caesar, John Calvin, Jibu Kribu. Yep. Interesting. Much more recently than you think, TT. My study has indicated that these stories were created about 100 AD. About 100 AD. And my studies also indicate that there's been 1,000 years added to history. So it's a lot more recent than most people think it is. And you heard me right. And before you start accusing, why don't you just go ahead and watch some of the videos that offer what I think is pretty compelling proof. Michael makes an interesting point, man. Oh, Calvinism's what pushed me away from Christianity. Well, good for you. Doing my best, Lionel. Doing my best. Right, or was it only? No, it's been about 1,000, I think. Been about 1,000, I think. So let's see. Drum roll. Dyer knew it. LEMISH, absolutely. Even if the Reformation was a real thing in the first place. That's exactly where we're going with this, and I'll be able to prove it to you, Truth Seeker. The Reformation was a false flag. It was a Catholic-created us versus them, red team, blue team creation, and I'm going to prove it to you, and I just started. It's all LEMISH. It's all LEMISH. And Harry makes a good point. Calvinism, Arminianism, another us versus them. Another LEMISH infiltrator. Absolutely. That sounds like a LEMISH name. I don't think witch is, no, that's not correct. Cohen is priest, not witch. Let me just double check. I don't think that's true. Witch in Hebrew. I'm sure it's not Cohen, unless it's witch in Hebrew. It's not Cohen. Hebrew. Let's translate it the other way. Cohen in English. Cohen in English. It means priest. Yep. Okay. But that's okay. That's okay. See how screwed up words get? Absolutely. See how screwed up words get. Cohen, coven. I see where you're going with that. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Look in the box below. This is also true. Freemasonry and LEMISHness can't be divided. Can't be divided. I was invited to become a Freemason. And I asked, what's it got to do with the Jesuits? I can't answer that. That was enough for me. Can you tell me that Jesuits and Freemasonry has nothing to do with each other? I can't tell you that. Okay, bye. Ooh, Annie used to wait tables for the B'nai B'rith. I bet you did get an earful. Interesting. I'd love to hear some of those. She was a teenager then. Very, very interesting. Yes, the Christian whistleblower. Boom. The Calvin whistleblower. That's funny. Jeffrey, the Calvin whistleblower. That's funny. That is really, really funny. Descendant of Aaron. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Jeff. My pleasure. This is what I do. All denominations are LEMISH. I agree with you, Pat, 100%. Two wings on the same bird. Nancy understands. Perfect. I saw that in encyclopedia and said priest. Boom. There you go. The B'nai B'rith are the LEMISH Freemasons. Excellent. Kohanim. Yep, that is Cohen in Hebrew. Very, very good stuff. Levite. Absolutely. Priest. So how about that? The guy that founded Christianity was a priest. Do you believe a spirit of truth guides your study? No, I guide my study. But do I have the spirit of divinity with me, the spark of divinity? Yes. Am I divine? Am I sovereign? And am I free? Yes, yes, yes. I don't have a spirit that guides me except my higher spirit because I'm divine, I'm sovereign, I'm free, and I don't need anybody else. And until you learn that, you're coming back here again. You don't need, what do you think I say? Guide your own spirit. Because until you learn to, you're coming back. Why do you think I say, what do I say? Guide your own. Why do you think I say master your own ascension? Because until you do, you're coming back. Why do you think I say be your own guru? Because until you do, you're coming back. And everybody that wants to be your guru, your spirit guide, your ascended master, they are trying to keep you down. They're trying to take advantage of you. They're using you. They're abusing you. They're eating you, literally, not in a good way. It's just that simple. I am a spirit. I'm just using this earth suit because I got to get done what I got to get done here. This ain't me. Because your eyes can't see me right now. I can't believe I just did that. You guys, this is powerful. The founder of Roman Protestantism, the co-founder of Roman Protestantism, was a LEMISH infiltrator, spy of the scribes and the Pharisees. What you gonna do now that this truth has broken out all over you? Check out our other channels. Create Yourself with Jeffrey Daugherty, Unindoctrinated Politically with Jeffrey Daugherty. I salute you all for being here seeking after truth. For Tracy Dyer and all our great moderators, for the lovely Cynthia, I'm reminding you, you are divine, you are sovereign, you are free. You're the last generation of real humans. So it's time for us to unindoctrinate ourselves and get busy.